Over the last few years, we have watched the reinvention of Lincoln. The classic American luxury brand, which is owned by Ford, has gone more upscale, more owner's perks, more beautiful interiors, and now in the 2024 Lincoln Nautilus, technology that just will blow you away. You are not even going to believe this. Starting at about $50,000 and going up from there, the 2024 and beyond Lincoln Nautilus is available in 3 flavors: good, great, and greatest. They actually call it Premier, Reserve, and Black Label. And even at the premier level, there are some really incredible features. Let's take a look. The Nautilus is a 5-passenger, 4-door SUV. It does have a really large cargo area. It has a really large rear seat and a really comfortable sort of open cabin feel in the front. This is a Black Label edition, so it's the top of the line. Everything I'm going to show you is the ultimate in what you get in this car. The new face of the Lincoln Nautilus is notable for the illuminated badge on the front. And notice this light bar that spans the front grille. The grille still carries that diamond mesh, and there's a little bit of a lower diamond mesh there below. And it has these really sleek sort of block style or pixel style headlights. There are air vents there below, and notable little things like lit reflectors here on the sides. Beautiful Nautilus style wheels. I love those wheels. You'll also see the Nautilus badge here along the side. That's a detail that they kept from the prior model. And then here on the rear, notice this huge light bar that spans the rear of the car. The door handles are actually part of this trim piece. It's a single piece here, and then there's a tab. It's a powered door, and there's a little tab in there. You just squeeze it to open the door. Let's slide into the driver's seat and see what life is like in the 2024 Lincoln Nautilus. Inside the Lincoln Nautilus, you're going to find something that you don't see in any other car. This 48-inch, they call it coast to coast, it's really pillar to pillar multimedia screen. So it is not touch sensitive, it is only for display. There's a touch sensitive panel here. There are fixed controls for climate here. The gear selector buttons are here. And then there are textured metal buttons and a really beautiful dial here for some of the key functions you'll want in the Lincoln Nautilus. But I want you to notice this, and this is something that you have a very good view of, so I want you to notice this. So I'm even going to put on my beautiful white seat belt because this interior, it's called Chateau, and oh my word, it is so gorgeous. It is so gorgeous and so beautiful to be in this car. Now, there are some really great features here and a lot of good information, some great features here and a lot of good information. So you do have everything you need at your disposal, at your fingertips. This is easy to reach. That is very easy to see. But let's talk about this steering wheel. Lincoln has completely rethought the steering wheel. So even notice how it's these panels are kind of free floating. These are the haptic controls or the touch sensitive controls that you see up there. So as I swipe around, you see it up there. This nice upholstered, leather-covered center piece this is where the horn is and the Lincoln badge. And then it's flat on the top and flat on the bottom. And that is to give you clear visibility. So from my eyesight, I can clearly see the road ahead of me. I can see all traffic. I can see the entire screen. And I don't have the steering wheel impeding my view. It's not positioning itself in my view and blocking my view, which I never realized was an issue until I started driving cars with flat steering wheels. The screen is massive and it's customizable. What you'll notice is there is not a head-up display. This is our head-up display. And on the steering wheel, we have these touch-sensitive pads that actually allow you to scroll around to different functions that are available. We're not driving, we're not in gear, but if we were, you would see different functions there. On the right side of the steering wheel, you'll see our entertainment functions here. So I can turn up or down the sound, I can change the channel, I can select something and press OK, and I can use the voice activation. Here you'll see there's the vehicle, there's the speed limit. On this part of the screen is where I'll see functions that are active, the driver assist and safety systems that are active. I'll see my range and fuel level there, and that we're ready to go. There's my map. This is actually a Google map because Google is the built-in system here on the multimedia system. I can use Apple CarPlay maps here, and if I have Apple CarPlay maps here and I'm using it for directions, so I ask for directions and activate navigation, it will actually show up on this screen as well. If I want to use Google, I have to use the built-in Google Map system. And then these 3 sections of the screen over here are customizable. So I can actually tap this little icon here and I can customize that screen by putting whatever it is I'd like to see on that screen. So I can make that change really easy. Here is our fixed climate control. We have vents here, gear selector here, and then this is our brake hold, which is a little bit of an unusual icon. We had to ask what that was. The emergency flashers, park assist, defroster. This is our 360-degree camera. So if I press that button, I get the camera here, and I also get it up on this screen here. Pardon the pixelation that the videos are not matched. And then my drive mode selector is here. So if I have the car in drive, I can then, let's turn off the camera, I can then choose my drive mode. So if I tap this button here, I will get my drive modes, and I need to pick on the screen. So once I've tapped that on the screen, I can choose the drive mode that I want. So I want you to notice that there are no controls for changing the direction of the fan. The fan is just blowing air at me. In fact, there's no controls for that here. I can see that there are louvers inside the vent, but I have no way of changing them because that is done here. And so what you're able to do is actually just move the fan direction there. If I want to point it up so it gives cooling air to people in the back, and I want this one, I'm hot, so I want to point that one to me, I can easily do that. I can also tap this little button and it will refresh the cabin. So it'll fill the cabin with fresh air from outside that is filtered. And then when it's done, it will continue to recycle the air inside the cabin. And then if I want to, I can also select one of a few different pre-programmed settings for the vents. So I can have the air all point to me. I can have it point away from me. I can have it move back and forth. So sometimes it's pointing at me, sometimes it's not. And if I want to, I can just completely close the vents and not have the vents on at all. Very clever, but it's worth noting that the way that you control the air vents in this car is through the touch screen and not through the vents themselves. Now I can still control the fan speed and the cabin temperature right here, just like that. And here is where I will find my wireless phone charger right there, cup holders, key holder, USB ports, and here is where I will find the fragrance diffuser. So I can add 3 different fragrances at one time. You can see those little pods there. They retail for $30 each. I have a choice of 7 different fragrances. It comes with 3 standard. And then in the car, when I feel like having a digital scent experience, I can tap digital scent, and this tells me which 3 are in here and how much is remaining of each scent. And then I can tap that scent and it will lightly diffuse through vents here in the armrest, not through the HVAC. And I can even set the level, so I can have max level or minimum level. And if I decide I don't want it, I can just turn it off. And I can choose these different 3. I'm happy to report that during my test drive, the digital fragrance experience was actually pretty nice. It was very subtle. I could definitely smell it. It wasn't overwhelming. I'm not sure that of the 7 available scents, I think the ones I like best are not installed in this car, so I'd be very interested to spend time with those. And once we turned off the fragrance, it kind of goes away. It doesn't linger in the car or on the fabrics, at least not in my experience. And so that's kind of a good thing, because I don't want the car to smell like the one fragrance all the time. That was something I really did appreciate, is the ability to change my mind. The center console also has hold bars here in case someone needs to hold on if you're in all-wheel drive or maybe in sport mode. There are 2 cup holders here. There's a nice little cubby here, which is a perfect place to put your Lincoln key. If you don't want to look at all this, well, you can just close this up. Actually, it won't close with your phone in it. You could just close that up and you don't have to look. Another feature that makes the Lincoln Nautilus really special are these seats. So they have the extending, the thigh extender, which is a dual thigh extender, something that Lincoln has had in their cars and SUVs for a while. And it has massaging seats. Our version has massaging seats. Massaging seats and the fragrance diffuser are available on some of the trims, not all of them. So if those are features that you want, make sure that the trim that you're looking at has those features. Another thing that's really unique about the Lincoln Nautilus is how large the rear seat is. Lincoln says that you have more than 41 inches of legroom. That's with the seats all the way back and these seats forward a little bit. These rear seats are on a rail, so they do move forward and back, which is really nice, something that you don't often see in a 5-passenger SUV. But that's something that Lincoln always puts importance on, is making sure that rear seat passengers have enough legroom, and in our world, making sure that there's plenty of room for kids' car seats, especially rear-facing child passenger car seats. So with that, let's go look at the rear seats. Lincoln really gives you a lot to love with these rear seats. So first of all, this seat is set for my driving position. I measured it. It's about 33 inches from here to here. And this seat is about 16 inches wide. So if you want to put 3 car seats across, you can do it in this car. Now, I will say there are only 2 sets of lower anchors. They are tucked away underneath this Velcro panel right here. There is a little ISOFIX tab right here, so you can see that they're there. Rear seat passengers also have a center armrest that folds out. There's a tiny little space for things right there. There are air vents and climate control here. There are 4 USB-C outlets back here. 2 here and 2 here on the seat backs. And there's a relatively flat floor, not completely. There is a household outlet right here. There are really beautiful panels here, and I don't know if you can see, but we have ambient lighting from the front that also continues onto the door panels back here. And then we have the panoramic sunroof is completely overhead for rear seat passengers. So the space is really open, it's spacious, it feels good, it feels light and airy. And then look at this legroom. So this is positioned for my seating position, and I can still sit back here and cross my legs and really enjoy riding in this beautiful, beautiful interior. And it's one of the things that I love about the Lincoln Nautilus. It's such a spoiler. Oh, but wait, there's more. I can also recline these seats. But wait, there's more. And they are on a rail. So if I wanted to position, say, a child passenger car seat a little bit closer to the front, I could do that. If I wanted to put one kid a little bit closer here and one kid a little bit further back here so they can't fight, I could do that too. So I really do love the flexibility of these seats for whatever it is you need for rear seat passengers. That's pretty nice. So I love the rear seat, but I want to show you the cargo area because that's pretty impressive too. One of the things you're going to really love about the Nautilus is how much cargo space. If you want to know where the button is to get in, it's underneath the L right there. Notice the Lincoln lights. It's very cool. So the cargo space is huge. I love that there's a little lip here so that if you have something that falls out of your grocery bag, it's not going to roll out when you open the lift gate. And there's room for probably like 3 or 4 full-size suitcases. There's also room for tailgating. So it was very easy to hop in here. I have this nice tailgate over me. I think it's set to open low. It should open higher than this. You can customize that. And then we have buttons to fold down the rear seats, which is a nice detail. and they go not quite flat, but pretty flat. Underneath the cargo floor, there is a spare tire. This is an all-wheel drive SUV, so a spare tire is always a really good idea. So let's take the Lincoln Nautilus out for a drive. I'm going to select my gear here and notice the screen. And I want you to notice how it is low. The steering wheel is low. My eyesight is here. You can see out here. None of this is really obtrusive. It's clear. I really like how the information is very clear and easy to see. I like how the map is very clear and easy to see. I can change whatever I need to change here. And I have this information here that I can change, or I can just turn it off by tapping that COM button. I can also do this. Hey Google, navigate to Starbucks.
Got it. There's a Starbucks 0.3 miles away.
So now it's giving me my results, and it's going to load the instructions, the navigation right up here on that screen. Okay, so now that I've turned off COM, there is my navigation, and we're going to drive a little bit towards Starbucks because I want you guys to hear and get the experience as much as you can through a video of what it's like to drive in the Lincoln Nautilus. So one of the things that Lincoln has done is they have filled the tires with foam to deaden the sound of street noise. I will say I hear it a little bit.
Turn right on Palm Hills.
I don't hear it quite as much as I might for these large wheels and pavement that tends to be a little noisy. It's a little bumpy. But the whole idea is, and I felt like driving around all day today, even though we were on highway roads and out on the interstate, it still felt pretty quiet, and that was nice. That is a luxury. So we spent a lot of time behind the wheel today of the Lincoln Nautilus, and the whole effect of this screen is exactly as Lincoln envisioned. So you have really good visibility of the things you need to see. You have some features here that you can customize however you'd like to have them. And overall, this entire setup works to create a really nice, relaxing drive experience. We also took it out on the road to try out Blue Cruise on the highway. You can only use that on mapped highways that are part of the Blue Cruise system. And we were able to do that here in California. We took it out on the highway, and this is what it looked like with our pro driver, Jill, behind the wheel. Jill has her hands off the wheel. Oh my goodness.
Oh, now it's telling me to put my hands back on the wheel.
But that is Blue Cruise, hands-free driving. And you can see it activated right there. It's a nice display.
It is.
Very clear.
I like the fact that the whole thing turns blue. Lane change possible. So, preparing lane change.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, and then it turned the indicator off because I didn't have the hard press all the way down. Now, here's the interesting thing. Let's test this a little bit. So I'm going to up the speed to 80, which is 10 miles over the speed limit, and it's still allowing us to do hands-free. And I will point out there's a camera right here that is watching my eyes to make sure that I'm watching the road. And if I look at the camera too much or am looking away at something else too much, it'll give me an audible alert and say, watch the road. And then if I don't watch the road or if it doesn't think I'm looking, it will actually turn off the system. So what I noticed on the Corsair when I was driving it is that as soon as I upped the speed over 80 miles an hour, it took it off of hands-free. So I'm at 81 right now, and it's still saying hands-free. Going up to 82, just watch the road, okay. And now it's telling me to keep my hands on the wheel. So the system, the hands-free system, only operates up to 80 miles an hour.
Thank you, Jill. So this is Rejuvenate mode. You're in the car, you've had a long day, you get home, and you want to spend a few minutes relaxing before you go in to face whatever's in the house. Or you're waiting in the after-school pickup line, or you're waiting in line for something else, to whatever. You're at sports practice waiting for your smelly kid to get in the back seat so you can take her home for dinner. So on your multimedia screen, tap the 6 little bubbles there. This gives you your app menu. Tap Rejuvenate, and it starts with Aurora Borealis. And I'm going to tap a 5-minute Aurora Borealis. Now watch what happens next. My seat reclines, my steering wheel moves out of the way, the screens go to Aurora Borealis. If I turn on the music, there's some calming music, the seat massage comes on, and there is diffused fragrance in the fragrance diffuser that allows me to fill the cabin with a calming scent. This goes on for about 5 minutes, and then it goes into rejuvenate mode. And now we'll start to shift into invigorate mode. Notice that the Aurora Borealis transitions into a crisp, clear mountain view. We start to see the sky, the clouds parting, the music gets a little louder, the massage becomes a little more intense. The seat repositions to make sure that I didn't completely fall asleep. My spirits are picked up. The idea is to give me a little more energy, a little more inspiration for whatever it is I'm going to do next. Maybe I have a big meeting at work. Maybe I have some intense homework to do with my kids. Maybe I have a difficult discussion coming, or maybe I'm just going to go in my house and have my dinner and watch The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Whichever it is, this entire process, this entire experience puts me in a refreshed and rejuvenated, to use their word, state of mind. And if your kids come running back to the car early from sports practice or rehearsal, just click stop and then click that little home button, and never tell them what rejuvenate is, or you'll never get them out of the car. It's said that luxury is where design and innovation come together, and they really do in the Lincoln Nautilus. The screen is amazing, but it's not just the big screen, it's what Lincoln has been able to do with it. And it's all the other things that are bigger and better than ever. More legroom, a more open cabin feel, that panoramic sunroof, and with 3 trims that start from really good and go to really great. This is the Reserve Edition, and I have to tell you, after driving this car all day, I think I'm spoiled.